Oh, and I like to draw. Is this anything?
What am I looking at?
It's a goat.
Oh!
It's hopping.
Certainly.
See?
Oh, again, that is a unique talent. Do we call that a talent?
Oh,
Done! What's up, everybody? It's that time of year again. So if you follow me long enough, then you probably noticed I've done this sort of thing 3 times now. An animated movie comes out in November or December of the previous year. I made a small video about it when it first came out, only to come back for a longer, more in-depth analysis of it a few months later. This has become a weird trend that I had no intention of starting, but I'm down with it nonetheless. The first one was Encanto, which I really loved. The second one was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I also really loved. And now we're returning to Wish, a movie that I didn't love all that much, honestly. In fact, I kinda disliked it a lot. Well, that's a weird break in tradition. Hold on, I'm gonna need a new wardrobe for this one. You know, I've worn this old shirt of mine for years now, and it's honestly getting kinda musky. Hold the phone. And you know what, while I'm at it, let me get these hair clippers real quick and do something. Hold on. Oh, that's not bad. How about a little bit of heavy metal magic? Yeah! Finally! A new look for the new me. Haha! At least one wish of mine came true this year. A new look for a new future. Hell yeah. Now, let's watch Wish again with a new mind. Who knows? Maybe we missed something there the first time. So, let's do it, shall we?
2 hours later.
Yeah, I still got nothing. I don't know, maybe if I watch it a third time, then maybe it'll finally click with me.
2 hours later.
No, I got nothing. This movie sucks. That's it. I'm going back to another movie. But what movie, though? Well, there's always Across the Spider-Verse. But I've watched that like 30 times, and I've seen all the little differences they made for no good reason. Ooh, how about Nimona again? Oh, but I don't want to risk being homophobic again, all because I didn't like the director. That's a topic for another video. Ooh, The Boy and the Heron. Now that would make for a great rewatch. So, obviously, the right choice for me to rewatch would, of course, be Elemental. Easily the weakest nominee for Best Animated Film this year. Like, it's not even a contest. Like, I think we all know who's gonna win this year. So, I'm recording this before the award is given out, but regardless of who wins, we can all agree Mutant Mayhem at least deserved a nomination over Elemental, right? Like, I liked Elemental fine, but Mutant Mayhem was just more fun. But there was one thing Elemental had that Mutant Mayhem didn't, other than cringy puns. It was romance.
Hey, April, now that prom is back on, do you maybe want to, well...
I love to, Leo.
No, that doesn't count.
You know, it's hard to meet other mutants my age.
Where'd the gate go?
Now that there's that, I'm talking like good old-fashioned Disney romance. Wade and Ember were cute, weren't they? They had good chemistry. Cute moments here and there. It really made me harken back to the last great Disney romance we had, which was Tangled, back in 2010. Wow, it has been some time, hasn't it? From the very beginning, romance has always played a vital role in Disney films, from Snow White to Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and even decades later during the Renaissance era, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, The Lion King, and arguably the greatest love story ever told, Beauty and the Beast, a film that is beloved and heavily regarded as one of the greatest films of all time, animated or otherwise. Disney love is about as iconic as, well, anything from Disney, really. It's easily up there with its affinity of writing amazing musical numbers, crafting beautifully animated set pieces, and giving us incredible villains. Yet, like with the latter of those three, sadly Disney's lost sight of that in recent years. Sure, there's been romance in some of their recent films, but it never really took center stage the same way the classics like Beauty and the Beast did. And I'm talking about this studio. This one right here. So if you want to bring up Lumity from the Owl House or whatever, don't bother. I love them, but it's not what we're talking about today. Seriously, the last movie we got with a centralized romance was Tangled, and that movie came out 14 years ago. Sure, Frozen had a romance with Anna and Kristoff, but that wasn't really the focus of the film. And the second movie wasn't much better. If anything, their relationship was just a running gag in that film, so forgive me for not taking their relationship all that seriously. I guess Fix-It Felix and Calhoun fell in love and Wreck-It Ralph. They had like 3 scenes about it in that movie, and they were barely even in the sequel period, so nope, that doesn't count. Big Hero 6 didn't have anything, Zootopia didn't have anything, Shipping doesn't count, Moana didn't have anything, Raya didn't have anything, Encanto, I guess, had Dolores get with Markiplier in the end. That's something, I suppose. And Strange World had the gay kid get with his crush. Like I said, it's been a little while. Now, don't take this as unfair criticism against any of these movies, even the bad ones. I know not every movie needs a romance and not every character needs a love interest. I get that. But at the same time, telling a love story as old as time is a pretty big deal for Disney. And I think modern Disney has simply lost that appreciation for classic romances. I'm not going to act like the old school romances of Snow White and the Prince and Cinderella and the Prince and Aurora and the Prince. Oh, wait, nope, that one had a name. It's Philip. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend they're great romances. It's more of just the iconic trope that is a princess being rescued by a handsome prince. It's a trope that's old and, honestly, pretty outdated, which is why when the Disney Renaissance era came around, Disney took it upon themselves to give their females more agency and character. Ariel, Belle, Jasmine, Nala, etc. all focused more on having actual desires, motivation, complexity, and all that jazz. But it still didn't change the fact that these characters still ended up falling in love. In fact, I think that's what made the Renaissance era such a great time period for Disney. They took all of the classic tropes that worked in the past but wouldn't work nowadays and reinvented them so that they do.
Damn, boy!
People loved classic villains, so they brought them back and started making them more complex by giving them unique backstories, while at the same time giving us the classic wickedness. So you're saying that is 100% possible to do. People love the beautiful animated set pieces of classic Disney, so with technology evolving, it only made sense to use that technology to bring classic 2D animation to a whole new level. It's almost like you can do anything with 2D animation if you just try hard enough. And of course, people love the trope of falling in love. And so, Disney brought that idea into the modern age as well. But instead of just a simple true love at first sight or whatever, they actually try to flesh out the romance themselves. Now you have 2 people from 2 separate worlds who have their own unique desires and personalities coming together, learning about each other, making compromises, and eventually realizing they're meant to be. That's classic Disney magic for you, baby. That's the good shit right there. There's a reason why people fall in love with romance. It's satisfying, it's beautiful. Some people just love torturing themselves while watching something so beautiful while at the same time realizing they'll never experience that kind of love in their sympathetic lifetime. That's not me, though. No way. But ever since Tangled, Disney's kind of strayed away from focusing on romance. Again, it's still in their movies, but it's never given that much spotlight. It's either reduced to some running gag like it was in Frozen 2, or it's just some background thing that no one really cares that much about.
Hey everybody, I'm
Disney Romance.
I used to have a show on this network. Now I live in the damn dump!
I think that's why so many people really connected with Elemental, at least a little while after it came out. Like, it's no secret that movie didn't do too well at first, but over time, it became a gradual success. And I think a part of that, along with the Korean representation of course, was the fact that it was a Disney movie that actually focused on a romance. Despite being from Pixar technically, but hey, close enough. I mean, just look up all the fan art and fan fiction of these two and tell me I'm wrong. Even the writers were cooking with them, considering in the original draft, not only were they already together, but they even had a baby at some point. I remember my friend Audrey Graywin was constantly asking the question, how would that even work? And everyone in our Discord server just kept on saying, chemistry. It was a fun time. But hey, if you didn't like Elemental, which is fine, then maybe Nimona would be more up your alley. Oh, wait a minute, that's not Disney, is it? Because not only did it have a romance in it, it had a gay romance in it, which is double icky. So Disney tried everything in their power to kill it, only for another studio to bring it back to life, and now look at it. Audiences loved it, critics loved it, and it's now a nominee for Best Animated Feature. Unlike Wishes. Yeah, I know Nimona doesn't focus that much on the romance between Ballister and Ambrosius. I just wanted to dunk on Disney again for that massive L. They cannot be allowed to live this down. I think the reason for Disney's hesitance to have romance in their movies nowadays is because of this weird mindset that they have that romance somehow makes their female characters weaker as a result. This stems from that constant criticism of old school Disney where the princesses had little to no character themselves and were often treated as rewards for the prince to get at the end of the story. Which, you know, fair enough. But Disney has since proven multiple times that they've moved on from those days. Ariel, Belle, Jasmine, Rapunzel, all of these characters actually have character outside of simply falling for their respective love interest. And in the cases of Beauty and the Beast and Tangled, the romance element is paramount to the stories and the character growth that each person within their respective relationship goes through. Who would Belle be without the Beast? Who would Rapunzel be without Eugene? You see what I'm saying? They still have character, but they would grow in a natural and believable state while at the same time bonding with another person and helping them grow as a person as well. That is what love is. There's a reason why audiences have resonated with Disney love stories since, well, the beginning. And look, I know there's people out there who think it's a good thing that Disney's pushing away from romance and doesn't want it in every movie, and that's fine and all. But damn it, it's been 14 years, okay? There's taking a 15-minute break, and then there's just plain not coming into work the next day, okay? I think we can come back to telling love stories, alright? Particularly in your 100-year anniversary celebration film. I mean, you brought back a classic villain, so why not bring back the love story? Ever since I first watched Wish back when it first came out in theaters, I didn't realize just how fucked up this movie's production was. It wasn't until a little later that a book of deleted and unused concepts was released, and suddenly the floodgates just opened and a tidal wave of creativity and frustration swept all over the internet. You mean to tell me we could have had a freaking evil couple between the king and queen? What were you thinking, Disney? I, along with a lot of people, were genuinely frustrated with the lost potential that Wish could have been. So much so that I wanted to do a rewrite of the film and even bring in voice actors to do some of the side characters for funny skits that I had in mind. But then the more I thought about it, the more I feared I was just doing what everyone else was already doing. Cause like, literally everyone on the internet has made rewrites of this film, so I decided to cancel that project. But I still wanted to talk about this movie in a deeper way, so I decided to focus on the part that frustrated me the most. Asha having a love interest in the original draft. Sorry if I decide not to talk that much about Magnifico or the Queen or most of the songs like This Is the Thanks I Get, as I'm pretty sure most of the internet has already done its job in tearing those things apart. But when it comes to the concept of Asha and the Starboy, or Aster as he's been affectionately called by the internet, I don't really see that many people talking about how if they did keep that part of the story, how that would affect Asha in the story. All we really got are these really cute and well done animatics, mainly focusing on the song at all costs, which was originally going to be a love song between the two of them. Oh, but modern Disney hates romance now, so instead of an endearing romance between a naive yet adventuristic Starboy and a girl who's stern and focused on the bigger picture, we get a marketable plushie and a girl that has no real definable character whatsoever. Like, seriously, to anyone who's watched this movie and actually likes it, can you actually tell me anything about Asha that is unique or interesting about her? Can you tell me what her motivation is? Because I've watched this movie like 5 or 6 times now, and I still don't fully get it. I mean, I guess her desire is for all the wishes that won't be granted to be returned to their rightful owners, but like, what then? Does Asha not understand that everyone is happy with the way things are? They don't really seem to mind having their wishes not be with them. The movie never showcases any real downside to Magnifico having the wishes in the first place. Everyone in Roses is perfectly fine with their lives, including Asha, Saba, and Mother. It also doesn't help the fact that Magnifico makes a good point, despite being the quote-unquote villain of the film. Not every wish is good. Not every wish deserves to be granted. Now, the movie doesn't show any bad wishes because, well, I guess this movie was written for dumbass 5-year-olds, but the movie itself acknowledges that bad wishes exist, so why not showcase that? Because it just makes Asha look both selfish and stupid. Magnifico, there's a wish in there that belongs to a little Georgian boy with a funny mustache, and he deserves to have his wish be granted. What's the worst thing that could happen? Asha would be a communist since apparently everyone deserves their wish to be granted equally. Asha wanting the wishes to be returned just isn't a compelling conflict because there just plain aren't any stakes. What happens if Asha fails? Well, nothing really. Everyone just goes on with their lives in blissful ignorance. Asha doesn't even go through any kind of arc in this movie. In what way does Asha change from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie? What lesson does she learn by the end of her journey? Mirabelle learned that special abilities don't make a person special, it's them that's the gift. But Asha doesn't really learn anything. She just kind of wants something and gets it by the end. Ignoring everything that's fundamentally wrong with what she wants, it just makes her one of the most boring main characters in Disney history, and arguably the most boring Disney princess since she's clearly in that lineup now. I mean, okay, maybe Aurora is worse, but at least they knew what they were doing with Aurora. Aurora was just meant to be a stand-in for young girls to fantasize themselves as, not to mention that shit was from 70 years ago. Asha's supposed to be a fully realized character. Oh, and the worst part of it is, this is a very simple fix. You want to know what would have saved this character? a partner in crime that challenges her, makes her ask questions about herself and the world she lives in, and pushes her to break her limits and try new things. And who better to fit that role than the Star Boy? Now, I know what y'all are gonna say in the comments, but Razor, she already has a partner in crime in the form of the Star already. Oh, what, you mean the Star that has zero dialogue, doesn't ask Asha any questions that make her rethink things about her life and motivation, doesn't challenge her worldview in any way? That's her partner in crime? The Star's fucking boring too! And don't you dare say the GOAT is the partner in crime, because the GOAT is even worse! The Star in its current form effectively has no purpose. It doesn't move the plot along in any significant way. It's not like you need the Star to get your wish back inside of you or anything. Honestly, it's pretty worthless as a character. Oh, well, okay, that's not true. The Star does open a door in one scene, so congratulations, Star! You have as much plot relevance as Wasabi from Big Hero 6, who also opened a door in one scene to justify his presence in the movie. Good for you. The Star isn't even a wishing star. Like, what?
What do I... Wait. Do you grant wishes? Oh no, I'm sorry. Obviously not. Forget I asked.
What do you mean, of course you don't? Isn't that the entire point of the Star itself? To be a wishing star? Asha made a wish on a star, and then the star came down. Why is it even here if it doesn't grant wishes? Well, apparently it can grant wishes, because when the stupid fucking goat wants to talk, the Star's like, oh, don't worry fam, I got you. But when Asha asks for her wish to be granted, the Star's like, oh fuck, I don't know, it's my day off, figure it out bitch, I'm stumped. It was Asha that summoned you, wasn't it? Why are you even here then? Yeah, the Star sucks, I'm sorry. Out of all the useless characters in this movie, the Star is surprisingly one of the more useless ones. But you wanna know how to fix the Star? It's easy, really. Just have him be the Star Boy and decide against granting the wish because of his own reasoning. That reasoning being something that contradicts what Asha herself wants. Let's say, for example, Asha wants to protect her people and get their wishes back pronto, while Starboy, or Aster as I'll call him for the rest of the video, decides they're fine because he's been watching them from afar and sees no reason to do that. He even points out that some wishes shouldn't be granted because, well, he's not a fucking idiot. But the two of them decide to make a deal which benefits the two of them. Asha will make the wish that it will improve the lives of everyone in Roses, and in exchange, Asha will show Aster around the kingdom so he can experience human life on Earth, which he's always been fascinated in. Both characters have a desire, they challenge each other's mindsets, and as the movie goes on, they affect each other in positive ways that change who they are as people. Aster would learn to appreciate the simpler things in life like friends and loved ones, while Asha would learn that with great power comes great responsibility. Not every wish should be granted, but with the way everyone in Roses lives, that's not really a bad thing. It'd kinda be like the message from Monsters University where it's okay to just be okay. That's a really profound and understated message, I think. And it's one that I think would be really cool for a Disney princess of all people to teach. She'd learn that just because some people don't have their deepest desires come true, doesn't mean they can't live happy, fulfilling lives. So what if that one woman will never fly? She still has her birds that she cares about. So what if Asha's Saba never plays the guitar? He still loves music, doesn't he? Asha's journey would be all about finding the compromises that people would have to make to find true happiness. Hell, it'd almost be like the ending of Meet the Robinsons, where the message was, around here, however, we don't look backwards for long, we keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. That would be Aster's arc in experiencing new things, not liking everything, and Asha helping him find the silver lining in it. And imagine them learning about this stuff through the Seven Dwarves here. Like, imagine how much more these characters would be if they actually had their own individual wishes that they had and the movie brought focus onto them. They'd certainly be more than just a gimmick that the movie brings up only every once in a while in order to make a cheap pop culture reference. So yeah, let's come up with a wish that every friend would make, starting with God damn it, what's their fucking names again? Dahlia, aka Doc. Her wish would be that she wants to be the best chef in town, but she feels that her crutch is getting in the way of that. So she would wish to simply not be crippled anymore. However, there's a catch to Aster's power. For you see, Aster, being a wishing star, can only grant one wish. And once it's granted, he'll have to return to the sky. So yeah, he's definitely not doing that. Instead, Asha would help her come to terms with her disability and show her that people love her cooking regardless of her crutch, which again would be a great lesson for the audience. Simon, or Sleepy, would want something for his grogginess, so Asha would just perk up his coffee or something. I don't know, easy fix. Keep in mind, not all of them would be super deep or anything. Some wishes would just be very simple and silly. Take Safi, for example. Safi, Sneezy would want something for his allergies, so Asha would recommend a job that doesn't affect his allergies, like being a farmer, since he's apparently good with chickens. Also, me and my friends in my Discord joked about him fucking the chickens, so I don't know, I thought that'd be funny. Dario, or Dopey, would wish to be smarter, and Asha would help him realize that he's not stupid, he just doesn't apply himself, and shows him the benefit of trying. Bazima, or Bashful, would be super shy as she is, and struggle to interact with people, so Asha would pair her up with another character named Hal, or Happy, who's always outgoing and supportive, so she can learn to open up to others. This would work out because Hal's wish would be to be able to open up to her crush, who... Can you guess who it'd be? That's right, it'd be Bazima. Yeah, I know they have like 0 screen time together, but I don't know, I just get mad lesbian vibes from these two. So fuck it, I want to see these two together. Make Halima a thing, you cowards. Make fan art of these two and then send that fan art to me on my Twitter account. I know Disney's gonna hate it, but what the fuck are they gonna do? Seriously, if you guys make fan art of these two, I'll share it on my Twitter account. Just don't forget to tag me in it. And finally, you have Gabo, or Grumpy, or as I prefer to call him, Burrito, if he had a pebble in his shoe. Seriously, it's pretty funny that they got the same guy who voiced Burrito and got him to just be the anti-Burrito. It's literally all I hear every time he opens his mouth. Anyway, Gabo would be the only one who wouldn't make his wish verbally known, as he's still loyal to the king. But Aster, who can read people like a book, would tell that he just wants to be happy. So they would just put him in therapy. That sounds fucking hilarious to me. They just put him in the chair and he just talks about all of his problems in life. That sounds amazing to me. And it wouldn't just stop at the 7 friends either. Asha and Aster would end up helping just about everyone in town. In fact, the whole entire sequence itself could be a musical number. Just have this song number be where I'm a Star goes. Only not god awful. Seriously, we shit on This Is the Thanks I Get, and I get it. But seriously, you guys, I'm a Star is next level bad. It's useless. At least This Is the Thanks I Get is catchy. I'm a Star doesn't even have that going for it. It doesn't answer any of Asha's questions, it's not fun to listen to, and the lyrics are just...
I'm a star.
Watch out, world, here I are.
Oh my god, I fucking hate this song. It actually reminds me of that shitty-ass sharing song from All Dogs Go to Heaven. And if you know my thoughts on that song, then you know my hatred for it burns with the passion of 1,000 suns. But imagine taking I'm a Star and putting it here during this sequence. And also just plain remaking it from the ground up, that would also help greatly. Every verse would end with the character finding that compromise and making their own wish come true, so when they end the verse with I'm a Star, there'd be this deeper meaning to it. The song, which in its current state serves as just some generic, you can do anything you want to message, in its new place would actually have some heart behind it. The song would also take place over the course of days or even weeks, which would give Magnifico much more time to breathe and develop as this film's villain. Like, seriously, imagine Asha and Aster helping the people grant their own wishes without his help. And before his very eyes, as time goes on, the wishes would start to disappear on their own. Suddenly, Magnifico would actually have a reason to be the bad guy. Now look, Magnifico was still majorly flawed, and for him to work, you'd have to either fully commit to his backstory of losing his first home, or just forego the backstory and just have him be a petty asshole. Which, for this story, I'm doing the latter, and I guess the queen can also be evil too. It honestly makes a little difference since that's not what I'm focusing on. But yeah, in this version, Magnifico and Amaya would love having the wishes, as that would give them some kind of control over their subjects. But thanks to Asha and Aster, the wishes would start to disappear on their own, and they would start to lose that control. During which, we'd get our villain duet, This Is the Thanks We Get. Seriously, Disney, you've had 100 years to make this movie, and I came up with this shit in like 3 days. What are you doing up there? Seriously, I don't know who at Disney is allergic to good ideas, but for real, fire them. This would give the story the much needed stakes that weren't there in the beginning, because now there's an opposing threat that wants to take everyone's happiness away. So effectively, with this one change of turning the plushy Star into an actual plot relevant Star boy, you give Asha a partner in crime that pushes her and helps her grow, you give the 7 dwarf characters more, well, character, you give Magnifico an actual reason to be the villain of the story, and finally, you give us a romance that's worthy of the 100-year celebration of Disney. I mean, think about it. After days or even weeks of spending time together, both Asha and Aster would get to know each other much better. Asha would see Aster grow from this naive freelancer into someone who takes priority and responsibility. And Aster would see Asha grow from a rigid, straightforward girl into someone who's not afraid to let her hair down and have fun every once in a while. But of course, the time would eventually have to come where Aster would have to grant Asha's wish, since that's the whole reason that he's there in the first place. And on top of all that, he's also on a time limit. for if he doesn't grant Asha's wish within that time limit, he'd die. Which, yeah, being a magical being with only one purpose, of course there'd be a downside to it, which would lead us to the best part of the film, At All Cost. Or at least the original version that was supposed to be a love song between Asha and Aster, but was then haphazardly changed to be about the wishes themselves? Yeah, it's so awkward and weird how they made it work in the movie, until you find out that it wasn't meant for the movie, it was so people could take it out of context and play it at their wedding and shit like that. Which, like, it's a fucking musical? Maybe focus on that first and then worry about how people will listen to it afterward? I mean, people listen to songs like A Whole New World, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and I See the Light outside of the movie, but those songs are still crucial to their respective films. But At All Cost, in its final form here, is effectively useless. Why is King Magnifico singing to his balls in front of this underage girl?
Why don't you have a seat?
I remember my friend Shay Nocturne pointed this out when we watched the movie together, that for the entire song, both Asha and Magnifico are facing away from each other the whole time, which just ends up making it feel even more awkward and ill-fitting. Sure, this was probably done to ensure that there's no weird pedophilic stuff between these two, which I guess was the best way to handle this, but maybe just don't use the song here at all. Imagine if they did use it the way it was originally intended. Aster would contemplate having to go back, Asha would tell him that she wants him to stay, and together, they would pronounce their own wishes. Each other. It would have been everything we love about Disney. Their animation, their messages, and especially their music. Oh, if only the executives didn't have their heads up their asses, then maybe we could have gotten it. But instead, we got this cheap-looking, boring, half-assed, confusing, and all-around waste of potential. But you probably already know that, given just how many people all over the internet are pretty much in agreement that Wish could have been better. It's not the worst movie Disney's ever made. Hell, I doubt it's even in the top 20. It's just that for the 100-year celebration of the studio, Wish sucks. It's not a good movie for all the reasons that I and literally thousands of people have made over the last few months, mainly involving Magnifico being a shit villain, and how we got robbed of what could have been the best romance Disney gave us in 14 years. And sadly, no one was even surprised that they fucked this up. It's getting to a point where we can just expect Disney to give us a mid-project from a mile away. I mean, just take a look at Moana 2. Apparently it was supposed to be a TV show, but now they're just making it into a movie? And also, Lin-Manuel Miranda isn't returning to do the songs for this one. Instead, they got some TikToker to make the music this time around. Oh my god, the red flags are everywhere! Like, are we sure the Soviet Union hasn't come back from the dead somehow? This shit's getting ridiculous. Oh, and we're still getting that live-action Moana, by the way. That hasn't been canceled. Like, honestly, what is even going on in Disney right now? Oh man. I know I said that I would love to see more Encanto stuff, since there's clearly so much more you can do with those characters and that world. But at this point, I'm almost afraid to ask for more Encanto stuff because they'll probably just go and fuck it up. Just like they did with Wish. Now, obviously, this is all just my opinion on how to fix the movie. Maybe keeping the Starboy wouldn't have fixed shit. Maybe the writer's strike had a bigger impact on this movie than I initially thought. Support the WGA, by the way. All I know for sure is that we've got to get a documentary on the production of this movie. There's no way there wasn't some kind of chicanery going on behind the scenes. Seriously, this will make the Sweatbox look like March of the Penguins in comparison, honestly. But as for Wish, well, I could make that easily made joke of just wishing for a better movie. But I don't know. It seems like I suggested in this rewrite, that the people of the internet have made compromises to make their own version of Wish. They've rewritten the songs, created their own animations, and more. And it's honestly really cool to see. Sure, it all comes from a place of frustration and anger, but it's a lot like that Alan Moore clip that I keep playing in my videos because it's one of my favorites. Watching the bad stuff can be more inspiring than the good stuff and encourage you to try new things. And I think that's at least one benefit to Wish being the way it turned out. It inspired people. We may never have gotten Asha and Aster, but that doesn't mean we can't make that wish happen ourselves. And also, Halima, seriously, get to work on those two. I want to see some gay shit on my Twitter. Send me that shit pronto.
I can't wait to leave this town, 'cause lately I've been feeling down. The cold nights just don't feel the same. Oh,